fading. Welcome back to the House of Fire. Tonight I'm going to reason, or today, whatever you want to reason, about how one get to the House of Fire. You know, when I say the House of Fire, I just mean the ninth level of understanding. You know what I mean? Or the ninth dimension, whatever you want to put on it. You know what I mean? So I will try and explain how you achieve such a thing then. You know what I mean? First I'll show you here in numbers. Get yourself focused, Marius. Can you see that? Eh? The focus. Like we explained before, positive and negative is the force that runs throughout the universe. You know what I mean? Simple thing to understand. And it also runs through numbers. So here we're going to use the numbers to demonstrate the one. It's already in numbers. So here is where we start the one. Before the one there was, like we say, 0. Yeah? So the one is the supreme, the first. All these other figures are coming from the one, because before the one there was no 1, 2 or 3, and you understand. So the first is positive, understand, and then obviously it's split into 2, so 2 is negative. So I'm not saying negativity is evil, but you know what I mean. It's negative. The number 3, this one here, is positive. So I would say this is the first level of understanding. The third level. Here you will feel this one or hear this one, I don't know, whatever, but you will be aware of this one. You know, as opposed to this man who is divided, he won't know, but you will know. So this is the first house, you know, in a spiritual sense. Then we have the number 4, which is another negative. Skip over him. This is the second house. Number 5. Which is a higher level of understanding than number 3. But still, we still know God. So it's not a high and low. It doesn't make no difference. Then we have 6. Here we have number 7, which is a higher house than number 5. I would reckon for you, Christian, maybe your Jesus was from this one, number 7, the house of 7. Here, I reckon you are hearing God and feeling God powerfully. You know what I mean? You know definitely that the one exists. Well, all these number 3 know it, 5 know it, so 7 is in tune even more by hearing or feeling. You know what I mean? And then we have 8, which is, like I say, 4 and 2 and that. And then you have the last one here, which is the level that I'm trying to map out tonight. This is the number 9 is what I'm calling the Firehouse. Understand? The reason why it is the Firehouse, it is the highest positive number outside of the 1. And when you reach this house, you have no choice but to bring back the 1. So this is the house that is announcing the return of the 1. You know that one that was in the beginning. I don't know about the one that they're talking about that was in the beginning. This one here I'm talking about. When you reach here and you go into 10, you got to bring this one back. Right. And you were to the Firehouse or any of these houses, you need disciples. You know what I mean? It's not a job that you can do on your own. Although disciples, those are helpful maybe when you are going to the 3rd house or the 5th house or the 7th house. As demonstrated by Jesus, or you say that he had 12 disciples, and these disciples was helping him to spread the message as it was. You know what I mean? That you can do that when you are on the way to the 7th house. You know, you need assistance. We all need assistance. But the Firehouse journey to the 9th house, you need disciples, definitely. But these disciples are not visible disciples as it was. Wait a minute there. Yes, the disciples that you need are not visible disciples. Because like you see, visible disciples could betray you. You know what I mean? So you need a few disciples. I've wrote some of them down here. You know what I mean? It was a long list, so I couldn't remember them all. So make sure I write them down. The first of these disciples, I would say, is common sense. Have you heard of him? Common sense. We all have him. Not a lot of people like to imply him. But trust me, I know everyone have got this fella. So you acquire common sense. And when I say acquire him, you must have him in operation. Because I know you all have him. I don't know if you use it. I doubt if you use it. You know what I mean? But on the way to the firehouse, you have to use it. You know what I mean? So, it's this other fella here. No, yeah, common sense is the guy now that introduced you to one love. Yeah. Common sense. Without common sense, I doubt if you will find where one love is. Because one love lives in a funny place. You know what I mean? And you have to seek him out on the way to the firehouse. That's it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. What's this other guy here now? Oh yeah, willpower. Yeah. You need willpower. You know what I mean? So you have to get him in operation as well. Willpower will stop at nothing to achieve the task. You know? So you need that fella there. And who's this guy here? Oh yes, honesty. Honesty is another man that you have to find. You know what I mean? Because without him, you cannot undertake journeys as serious as reaching the firehouse without a man like honesty. And he's got a friend. I think the two of them live closely together. Innocency. Yeah. Then a friend, a very good friend, these two. Innocency. And then this guy here, patience. Now, you definitely need this guy, patience. Have you heard of him, patience? Oh yeah, he's very patient. I tell you how you can imply patience. Because patience is a very mad guy, but you have to know how to work with him. For instance, somebody could rob you in this world. And you are getting very angry, you are thinking, I'm going to do him in, I'm going to have him done over. Let me have a drink. But patience will be saying to you, no, don't be, are you stupid? Don't be doing anything like that, because life is forever. You know what I mean? So what patience will advise you is that, why should you be in a hurry to collect from him now, when you can collect later on, you know when you leave here? So that is the reason why everyone should have patience. You know, then you will learn how to, you know what I mean? But patience will learn you all this. You know, he's very... I like the guy. And then this other fella here, who is he? Pure intention. Yes. Yeah. That's another. It ain't use going, if you're heading towards the firehouse. Well, even when you have all these, you go into these lower houses like the third house and the fifth house, you need these guys. You know what I mean? But when you go into the firehouse, they have to be more intensified, yeah. So up there, the fire car, the intention have to be burned out properly up there. Yeah. Then in case you get tired, you need this brother here, you need endurance. You know what I mean? Endurance. Yeah. This fella never give up. You know, endure to the end. To death, even in death, he's in. Trust me. I would say enthusiasm. You definitely need that, you know. Enthusiasm. Ain't no use slacking on the job. So enthusiasm is a man that skip and bounce and, keep things flowing. Well, all those will now get you there, like I say, up to at least the fifth house. Then like I say, you reach there now. To really advance, like I was saying, down to the firehouse here, you definitely, like I say, ain't no use attempting this. You could probably reach all the third house without this and all that. But when it come up to the heading towards the firehouse, you definitely need fearless. You understand? Without fearless, trust me, you ain't going in the journey. You understand? Because like I tell you before, if you fear God, or devil, or anything, you know, archangel, beings, I don't know, Anunnaki, or anything at all that people tell you. If you fear anything like that, you cannot enter the firehouse. Firehouse is for men who are fearless. So that is why you need the disciple fearless around you. You know what I mean? Because fearless don't mess. Like I tell you, when fearless appear, fearsome, fear all them scatter. Run, leave town, you know, leave out of town. So that's why you need fearless. And you need serious, you know what I mean? You need serious, yeah? But you also need funny. Because like I tell you before, funny is a man that laugh at anything. Even when serious gets serious, funny. And that's why you have to imply common sense to keep a peace between them. You know what I mean? Because some situations are serious and some are funny. So you need a flex. But as disciples they get on, you know what I mean? They are necessary. I wouldn't advise anyone to enter the firehouse and try not being serious and being funny at the same time. You know what I mean? Because you will go crazy down there. You are going mad anyway. So that's how you're going to. Without these, you cannot get mad. And then, yes, now, the last one that I've put on there now, which this will be a surprise to most people, but because they might not be aware that such disciples are around, but it's actually roots reggae. Understand? Because the roots of the reggae now have a vibration and a beat, a power, and you need that power, you know, like a train that is going to drive you, whatever you call, propel you down to the firehouse. You see? Now, once you arrive down at Firehouse now, you will find out that I'll tell you a bit about the laws of the firehouse. What shall I pick on? Something controversial. Let's say homosexuality then. This is the laws that how the firehouse, we see that in the firehouse now. Now, under the law, because we're dealing with the law now, you know. And in firehouse, we don't deal with statute law. No. We deal with the invisible law. I don't know if you are aware of this, but there is an invisible law. Well, when you're mad, you know these kind of things. Firehouse soldier mad, you know. So as I'm mad, I know that there is such law. The law that I'm talking about now from Firehouse, which is the invisible law, is that every human being was given a choice. Now listen carefully to what I'm saying, you know. Every human being was given the freedom to choose for themselves between good and bad, positive and negative, as we would see it. Yeah? So those who we deem to be homosexual then are exercising their right, as I would see it, under the law given to them. You see what I mean from the firehouse? So, if somebody choose such behavior then, as an example, the fire soldier can decide, okay, every man has got his right to decide. I cannot deny the man the right to choose. Even if the man choose the wrong thing, it is the man right or the woman right. You see, so therefore, I cannot go and physically do them anything, if you know what I mean. But I can object and say, all right then, the choice that you have made, I don't agree. And I don't agree on the grounds of, for example, you and you, a two-man cannot produce a child, or two women, as an example. You know what I mean? They might say to me, but we love each other. But I could also say, well, I love my brethren, but you know what I mean? Because there's a fine line between this love and sexual behavior. You understand what I mean? So I will object on those grounds. Now, I have more. I could also object that maybe you want to teach my son or my daughter that what you are doing is correct. But I don't think you should have that right, because you don't have children yourself. You don't have children yourself. So why, you know what I mean? So along those grounds, I would object. You know what I mean? But I am not going to be willing to come and do you any harm or physically attack you or advise anyone to do such things. Because whatever it is a man is doing in this world, it is his right. You know, unless it was a case of you coming to murder me, that's not your right. You know what I mean? So as long as those who we deem to be homosexual keep their behavior between themselves and don't try and impose it on us or other people as a right, you know, to say it's right. You cannot impose it, but you have the right under the law. When you're talking about the law, now when I talk about such a law, the law of the Firehouse, under the law, those people have the right to do what it is they are doing. And I as a human being, because I am not God then, you know, just a Firehouse teacher, I as a human being, I have no right to punish them. If there is any punishment in this wrongdoing that they are doing, then that is between them and God. You understand? It is not between me and them. So I don't, the Firehouse don't, like I say, as a Firehouse, I wouldn't be indulging in such behavior, because I have my own, what I would say, I just think those things are not right. But that is my own personal opinion, like I tell you. I am not God. So because I am not God, no, I'm not going to condemn anyone. I don't know the punishment, or if there is punishment for such behavior. Those who are indulging in it will find out, because everyone will reap what they sow. You understand? So that is how the law run up at Firehouse. Now, even God, we will put that aside now, and we'll move on to another insight from the Firehouse concerning the law, where God is concerned. Because don't forget, people are terrified of God. Understand? It's only because the Firehouse soldier is fearless, so we can actually approach God. But usually people are terrified of God, so they will say, oh God, from they read in a book that God said, they ain't going to question nothing. They say, God, afraid, innit? Any man say, oh God says, so they are terrified. So they can, because they are afraid, and they are afraid of approaching God to find out, they will let somebody tell them that, oh, God sent his son here. As an example. But trust me, God cannot send no son here. You know? He already put us all here if you want. We all come here. But he cannot send anyone special here to do anything, because that would be breaking the law. Understand? God won't break his own law, you know. God is a mad scientist, and the whole of the universe is run by law, and he obeys them all. It's a part of a chick, you know what I mean? God is a sucker for the law, because God knows that to get people to follow law, you have to demonstrate it, you know what I mean? If you aren't breaking it, they will break it. So the Firehouse teacher know that God cannot send anyone here. God cannot choose anyone here either to do anything. You know what I mean? All those kind of thing that people believe, you know, that God do this, God do that. And then they make the silly excuse and say, well, God is all powerful, isn't he? He can do anything. Yeah, you're right. And God can do anything, but he won't, because he follows laws. So like I tell you, he already created you to man and woman to produce children. And that's the only way children is going to come about. I know in modern times you can extract the sperm from a man and do something, you know what I mean? But you still need the sperm of a man. So Mary get the sperm from somewhere. Talk about God doing no miracle. Yeah, that's what you gullible people would like to imagine. But God works by law. And once we have the freedom here to decide what it is we want to do, God cannot interfere with that. You see, but because you're afraid of God, you can't see this. You know, it's so terrible. terrify the God that you think that God can do anything and will do anything. But from the Firehouse, we don't see God just doing anything like that. You know what I mean? We see where, I shouldn't say we, I see where God just follow his laws, because God love law. You understand what I mean? So from the Firehouse, when you reach the Firehouse, things are completely different. You understand? Just like when I tell people, before I knew God, I never went, before I was 27, I never went around and tell anybody that I know God or that God was in them, because I never know. But once I reached 27 and changed, then I started to do it. You know what I mean? And then once, as you grow and grow and grow and grow and you reach where you're going, you just say you reach where you're going. It's as simple as that. So once I know God, now I started to talk about God. But before I did it, I never know. So I never did it. But now I know and I'm doing it. You understand? So if I'm telling you, see how I'm explaining about reaching the Firehouse, it's what you've done, you know, like I get enlightened when I was 27. But enlightenment is just the beginning of your journey, you understand what I mean? So I've been on the road ever since then. I've just reached Firehouse. I probably reached Firehouse long time and was down there tuning, fine tuning. Something like when you discover a rough diamond, like I tell you, and you polish it. You know, work on all the facet of the diamond. So that's what we do in Firehouse. Understand? Continually working in oneself. And like I tell you, when you're in Firehouse, as an example, from Firehouse you don't meditate or those kind of things. You see what I mean? Because to a Firehouse soldier, the man who is meditating is as if he's living in two worlds. So he's busy in that world, working or doing whatever he's doing. So he's seeking time out so that he can get in touch with what he calls God or whatever. But the Firehouse soldier meditates in the midst of all the troubles. Yeah, all the troubles and sufferation. Because to be a to reach Firehouse, you know, it's not as if anyone is going to hold your hand and take you there. Understand what no one is going to hold your hand, right, and take you to Firehouse. No one is going to instill these qualities in you that I tell you, common sense, innocence. No one at all, not even God, is going to do this for you. This is a job that you have to do. You know, like how somebody who said they love football, and because they love football, they enthusiastic about it. And always on the field practicing and all that. So this is what you have to instill in yourself then, or what I had to instill in myself then to reach Firehouse. You know what I mean? You have to, I will say, have you read them kind of scripture where them say those who thirst and, I remember thirst and something after truth. Or thirst and hunger, you know what I mean? That's what you have to be if you want to reach Firehouse. You have to take what they say literally in your heart and in your mind and in your soul. So that means you are thirsting after truth. Not what you saw. This kind of truth that we thirst after in Firehouse as an example. Because Firehouse teachers are, I say as a Firehouse teacher, you become like a mad scientist like God. Because in Firehouse now, my cat Rasta is here beside me. Rasta always here. The truth is even for Rasta the cat. In Firehouse. In Firehouse we teach even the trees and the grass. Yeah, man. So Firehouse light is not shining for black, what they would call black people, white people, male, female, Rasta man and Christian man, Muslim man, or any man and what you want to call it. Firehouse teaching is for all. We just teach because we don't care. You understand? We teach all the archangel them when we go in. Yes, man. That's how Firehouse teacher. I can show you. I told you that the Firehouse teacher now is like, sometimes I use like an elite soldier, but he's really God bad dog. You know, you better you put it that way to them. That's what the Firehouse soldier is. So he's a dog, right? one of them dogs in Jamaica, so we call bad man doggies. This dog here now, that the fire lord is the dog. Yeah, but this dog belongs to the one. Now trust me, not even the one son dear shift a inch, you know, when the dog get about. Yeah, my bro, that even, yeah man, only the master one can keep that dog quiet, trust me. In the big whole wide universe that you see out there, when that dog the growl, trust me, so like me say, when if they imagine, like I tell them about God quote and everything, when the dog come in, man, all the angel them know so they know to make a wrong move. You see what I mean? Because the dog there, you know, and master can say, cool, now what happened to your brethren? I say, my brethren them, man. All them people, I'm angel them. Oh yeah, but I just, you know, settle yourself, man, you know. So you must have to let them all know, say, one thing you do, you don't say nothing to this dog. You don't ever tell him to be quiet or to be silent. You know what I mean? Because you will get him angry. You know what I mean? That's all you're going to, because he only listens to one master. You know them have some dog and something like that, man. Them not listen to no one else but the master. So up in the firehouse then from the 9th level, you see, all we can see is the one. Because don't forget, like I tell you, these teachings haven't been given before from Firehouse, because there has been no Firehouse teacher. We have levels, we have masters who reach the 3rd level and the 5th level and the 7th level. But you don't have no soldier that bust and gone through the 9th level. That level is where the bad dog is, you know. That's why I call it Firehouse, you know. Real hot down there, you know what I mean? So this is not, this teaching is what you would call a new teaching then, revolutionary teaching from Firehouse, you know what I mean? Because like I said before, none of these soldiers has reached the 9th level, because at the 9th level, like I tell you, at the 3rd level you can hear God feel, and that happens at the 5th and 7th level. You see me? But when you reach 9th level, you man, me hear me tell you now, bad boy soldier from 9th grade, see? When you reach the 9th level, and you may never reach that level, that's trust me, because I don't even remember the road to it, you know, rough. I call it the road of tears. I tell you about that later. But when you reach that level, right, you will behold the presence of the terrible and dreadful one, or the one who does it anyway. Because we are in high definition, like I say in this time, the force reveal itself to you. So I'm a man who's seen the one. That's why I always I say me a bad boy. I'm not joking when they say them things there. You know what I mean? So he coming back on the track now, where I say it's also a road of tears. You know, practically every day I cry, you know, but no one don't see me crying. No, the crying come about now when we play roots reggae. Yes, man. And that touches, because that sing about the sufferation and the pain, the agony. You know what I mean? The love of God continuously. That is where, you know, like when people go to church, or them gone and them mask and all them things there. That's what the Firehouse soldier is doing all the time. So you find out, you know, me as a man will play them rhythm there continuously, you know, wicked style, because it got a beat and pulsate. So a lot of the time that bring, well, most time we are crying still, but we don't let no one see that happening, because like I tell you, Firehouse soldier is both hard and soft. Perfect combination of feminine and male. You understand? So we can endure a lot of things. You know what I mean? Endure a lot of things in, I would say, in the Firehouse. It's like yesterday when I was on another reason, I was saying how I got 4 kids and all that. All my 4 kids are by different mothers, by the way. So you see, I wasn't a perfect man, was it? You can tell from that I was promiscuous. you know what I mean? And then, right now I have 4 grandkids. The same, I have them in the same combination. 3 boys and a girl. And I've got 3 boys and a girl. But I would also add that I should say I've got 4 grandkids, because my stepson Nico, he's got a daughter. And I also consider her my granddaughter, if you know what I mean. Even though I'm not with Nico's mom anymore, because now we split up. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, well, I try my best to make things work. Things don't work. But to me, them things come in like... in Jamaica, when we was kids, we never used to have any shoes. Yeah? So we run about in the bushes, and sometimes a thorn. Here they call it a thorn. But back home we call it a maca. See? Or a bottle. Broken bottle. Back home we call that grass buckle. Sometimes you're running or moving through the bush and something just run up in your feet. So you have to spend all a 2 week or 3 week, maybe even a month walking on one side of your feet, you know what I mean? Or depending on which side you have the damage, you know what I mean? So I would say, well, breaking up with my missus was something like that then. Not that it wasn't painful, because when a macaroni in your feet, it's painful, you know what I mean? But because you are a soldier, you know that time will heal things. So after a while, you're back walking again. So that's what has happened in that relationship. I was in that relationship for 20 years, and that one finished now. But like I say now, because me and she's finished, I haven't run off into any relationship with any female. You know, I have decided to monk it out for the time being, because I want to spit some fire from the house of fire. So the only way I'm going to sex any females like in the 2012 year is with some words. You know what I mean? Like we say, we don't F you with some words, but nothing else. You know what I mean? We're not interested in that kind of activity. Because the fire lad I would say, conserve energy. You know what I mean? Plus, it don't look like on this planet you're going to find a female who is burning with the desire for, who's in love with God like I am in love with God. Very hard to find, because female is looking for Mr. Sexy, I say, you know, or Mr. Provider. They're not looking to fall in love with God. So I don't think I can be bothered again after going through my life with a series of female making mistakes. You know, I'm not going to blame. I'm not blaming any of the female that I have associated myself with. In fact, I will take all the blame for everything that has happened. But I'm just saying, I'm at this stage, I'm putting a stop to that. You know what I mean? Rather than go chasing female, I am concentrating on the fireworks. You know, because I reckon my last missus, she get a bit bored with me, because she says, for Christ's sake, you've been talking about the same thing for 20 years. Nothing ain't happening. You know what I mean? So maybe that get on her nerves, and I can understand that, you know. Plus, I don't have any teeth now in it. I'm not as attractive, you know. So these things happen in life. But what I'm saying, those are part of the things then. Whatever happened to you, you have to endure them. That's why I say you need endurance, patience. You know what I mean? It's not as if you're not going to get hurt. You will get hurt, but like I say, after a while, things slowly get better and then you can walk again. So the fire lion has been injured enough time. You know, all kind of things go on. We don't want to be making anything personal, because everything, you see, on the way to the firehouse now, you learn a different thing. Because like I say, it's mad. So, bad things are seen as good things. Yes, man. So on the way to the firehouse, if anything happen good, you are glad and learn from the good thing. And if it's a bad thing, in that badness you learn as well. Because there's a lesson in the badness. You know what I mean? Yeah. Everything teaches you well now. So no devil and everything. Because it's a mad teaching on the way to firehouse. So you soak up everything. So after a while, a firehouse man is not going to worry if anything bad happens. He spent time searching out the badness, observing the badness in himself then, and trying to see if, because you know there must be at least a tiny little lesson in there, you know, and take that little lesson, you know. Every lesson that you learn, some lessons are painful. So it's best you observe the pain within yourself and feel the pain, acknowledge the pain. You know what I mean? And then extract the learning that you need to learn. So a lot of people won't, that's why I say people, maybe it wasn't the time for them to reach Firehouse. You know what I mean? Times are different. You know, the 3 and the 5 and not in the same place, they are in different times. You know what I mean? So if you say Jesus was in he reached the 2,000 years ago, well, it take another 2,000 years to reach Firehouse. You know what I mean? But trust me, the journey to the Firehouse, one would have to go back now in when we reach on the other side, I will rewind my memory. Yeah? So it's all tape there, you know. How I make the journey to Firehouse. So I'll rewind my memory and show you the video of what one had to endure to reach Firehouse. But the thing with that, no one around you ain't going to see you enduring nothing. You know what I mean? They probably just say, oh, madman, you know. Always sitting and standing, going about this God, and this God don't help him. They would probably look at me like I say, most people say, well, if this God what you was about some, how come you don't make you have some money to fix your teeth? How come you haven't got any money? Because you know that I have been on this planet. I don't know how I do it or how I survive, but I survive without no money. Trust me. As God liveth it right now, if I have 2,000 pounds, you know, say I rich. So you don't know, say, from all the years that I have been living on the planet, I don't have 2,000 pounds. In fact, like I tell you, human being, if I did have any of the paper like I see, I would go in these modern days now and get some modern teeth fixing. But I don't have none of the boy them paper. So I have decided to leave my mouth the way it is, because I like spitting some bad lyrics from between my teeth. My grandmother used to say to me back in Jamaica, I tell you Jamaica, she said, "Pa, you're too damn feisty, you're too damn out of order." In English that would mean you are too cheeky, you know. But she would say you're too damn out of order and rank, feisty. So I have still got a bit of that, what I would call feistiness about me. And that's why now I don't mind spitting lyrics, through them out without any teeth. Because me just know so the lyrics them bad, because me feisty, just like my grandmother said. But I am not being, like I say, feisty to insult anyone. Because when you are a fire soldier, you have to learn things like, you are better than nobody. Yeah, a fire soldier know that he's full of shit. So we never put ourselves above any human being or think that you know anything. Because at the end of the day, anyone who is listening, basically, if a Firehouse teacher was to teach you, right, it's simple. He'll just be telling you that, listen, you are all brothers and sisters. Yeah? You should share. It's one earth. Yeah? So live together. Share things. There's enough for everyone. Trust me, everyone can be rich. So that's all I'm telling you. I'm not advising you to go and kill anyone and treat people as different, you know. Because in Firehouse, although we are in the house of dread, and that is what Rasta call it, the house of dread. The Firehouse teaching is not for what you would call Rasta, you know. Some people like they would say, oh, can a white man be Rasta? I will just answer them and say, well, can a white man live good? Why don't you go and stop him living good, innit? Well, he might live it good, he might be living good, but he don't say it's Rasta. I say, so there's no problem with that. Does a Rasta have to have hair? Hair is not going to make is not what is going to make you live good. So forget about the hair being Rasta then. Yeah? It's not the food, you know what I mean? I know people go on about food. People in Rasta don't eat pork. But that's got nothing to do with Rasta either. Real Rasta, you know what I mean? As to whether you eat pork or whether grass you eating. Whether the dispute, whether it is meat you eating, grass you eating, all that has got nothing to do with Rasta. Rasta is just simply honesty within oneself. So this honesty brings about a one love for the whole earth and everything that's on it, even the grass. You understand? And a love that will share with anyone. So A Firehouse Rasta wouldn't be saying to him, a next man that, oh, you cannot be Rasta, as if Rasta is some private club. There is no private club in Rasta. Rasta respect all human beings, Christian, Muslim, whatever you say you are. The only argument Rasta having with you is, are you living good? Do you know that we are all one? If you are telling the Rasta that, what problem would you want to have with you? If you tell a Firehouse soldier that, yes, you are living one and you recognize him and you know that the earth is one, there is no problem with that. But whenever if the Firehouse soldier find any division amongst man, then we have a problem with that. So you find a Firehouse soldier have a problem with people calling themselves Jews, Muslim, Christian, blacks, because these represent division. You know, the way that you put yourself into, like I say, countries and all that is idiotic business. It's as if you somebody has programmed you to be, like I say, proper mental idiots, fools. You know what I mean? Because you should be earth people. If we was living as earth people, you wouldn't have the problem you have in here now. But because you're living in competition, you know what I mean, exploiting. You want to tell your leaders to stop exploiting the earth. You know, the earth is a living, what your scientists would call organism, or I can't even pronounce it. You know what I'm talking. It's a living entity then. Put some here, it's a living being, whatever you want to put on it. And you are there, just like you abuse each other and the animal, you are there abusing the earth. It's not right. You know what I mean? This is what the Firehouse teacher. Those kind of things are not right. And it's time for the people. Yeah, just like I say, you are beginning to aware now that you've been tricked by your political system that you trust. It's all allowed that it's a big game. It's all to stop you growing. It's time for you to rise up and realize that these people are tricking you. You know what I mean? Like I say, people going voting. You know what I mean? They give you the right. Who give you the right? They say, I grant you the right to vote. We was granted the vote. Who? Only some rich people decide that it's time for you to vote. You know what I mean? And you think that you are voting for your right. When I tell you, you are voting to keep yourself in prison. Because you are voting for an unjust system. You are supporting an unjust system. Look deep in your heart and your mind and your soul. Is that all them things there? And you will see for yourself. Let your own conscience speak to you, yeah, and look on earth, and you will see that it doesn't matter which country you want to name. It's ruled by those who are up the top and the majority are under their feet. You know what I mean? You have a tiny minority, yeah, who are at the top and the rest are under their feet. You know, and these little tiny minority, they are the one now who set up this idiotic business about money and baby and have the rest of us, like we say, you know, in this time as sheeples. But the Firehouse soldier, like we say, right, is here to wake up sheeples. Well, I know that in the past when a man come and try to wake you up, you kill them. You probably kill me now for telling you. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these, like I say, religious fanatic. If you attack their superstar, they will kill you. So they don't want you to tell them that their superstar is just a normal man, full of shit like any other man. So they will literally want to abuse you and attack. But that is the truth. This is the time for the mind to realize this. That these men have to go to toilet just like you. There wasn't shitting holy shit, you know, normal stink shit like us. So why are you putting them on a pedestal and saying that God sent them here and all? God cannot send anyone here. You are here to choose. Yeah? God don't choose man. Man choose God. God, the choice is not with God. You understand? You are afraid of God, so you cannot see this. But if you wasn't afraid, you'll be able to see clearly that God cannot choose a man, brethren. A man must choose God. And then God will work with you, your requests. Because you've got the freedom. It is you who got it, not God. So you sit down there and put in all this responsibility on God, and put in responsibility on this idiotic thing that they tell you about Jesus save you. No one cannot save you. No one cannot die for your sin. You commit your sins yourself, and you must rectify your own sins. You understand? You commit them, you rectify them about Jesus died for your sin. And you have, look how many of these idiotic, you call them professors or scholars, going away studying the life of Jesus. And for what reason? All that time that you spent studying the life of Jesus was a waste of time. You should have been studying your own life, who you are. About your study, you'll never, if you know yourself, in fact, you wouldn't know who Jesus was. If you want to know a next man, any one of you out there, right, who's studying, running, whoever it is that you're studying, you're so fascinated with their life and this and that, yeah? You really want to know the man? Get to know yourself. Know who you are, and you will know every man, because every man is the same thing. Instead of you running about going to where the man used to live, going to the places that he used to go to work and trying to find out, and all those things are just what idiotic people do when they don't know. You know what I mean? So this is from Firehouse now in this time now. The Firehouse teacher now is the one who is going to bring the teaching, because amongst men, you cannot agree. Men cannot agree. Everybody think they have the right. But you haven't got the right. It's conscience who have the right. So if you want to know who, they're always asking who the Rasta leader is, like I tell you, it's conscience. Independent, it burn like the sun. That is what the Firehouse is going to introduce. The burning light of the terrible and dreadful overlord himself. Rastafari spitting from the Firehouse. So here what now? Until another time, we're going to wrap out and come in on the next Firehouse reasoning, you know. I hope you enjoy that reasoning. I hope you understand it, because you know when we burn fire, we don't wrap. Everything is always 100%, see, 100, about 3,000 billion% serious. But at the same amount of figure, funny as well, because we have funny with us, and he don't allow serious just to be so serious. So on that note, we're going to fire out from the Firehouse on a funny note, you know. Yeah man, Rastafari, fire out.